In a small, bustling village in Ghana, Kofi Adumah grew up as the pride of his mother, Akosua. As a boy, he often stood under the old baobab tree, dreaming aloud of a life where poverty was a distant memory. "Ma," he'd say, his eyes gleaming, "one day, I'll make you proud. I'll buy you a mansion, expensive cars, and you'll never have to work again." Akosua would smile, brushing her son's hair gently. "All I want is for you to grow into a good man, Kofi. Wealth isn't everything." But the harshness of life had other plans. When Kofi became a young man, opportunities were scarce, and dreams didn't fill empty stomachs. Desperation led him into the shadows, where a gang of notorious robbers welcomed him into their fold. They called him Black Hawk for his sharp instincts and unmatched agility. Soon, Kofi's name spread fear across the region. His gang's raids were brutal, and they left no trace. Despite his growing infamy, Kofi never forgot his promise to Akosua. He visited her one evening, dressed sharply and carrying a stack of crisp bills. "Take this, Ma," he said, placing the money on the table. "Buy something for yourself." Akosua stared at the money, then back at her son. "Where did you get this, Kofi?" "What does it matter? It's for you." "I won't take dirty money," Akosua said firmly, her voice trembling. "You've strayed too far, Kofi. Come back to me before it's too late." Anger and hurt flashed across Kofi's face. "If you can't accept me as I am, then I'll never come back," he shouted, storming out. From that day, Kofi buried his guilt under more robberies, becoming bolder with each heist. He lived for the thrill, but deep inside, he was haunted by his mother's words. One fateful night, during an ambitious robbery, Kofi and his gang were ambushed by the Ghana police. Gunfire erupted, tearing through the silence. One by one, his gang members fell. A bullet struck Kofi in the side, and he collapsed, bleeding. The police, believing he was dead, left the scene. When Kofi regained consciousness, he found himself in a dimly lit church. His head rested on the lap of an elderly woman, her wrinkled face kind and serene. "Where am I?" Kofi croaked. "You're safe," the woman said gently. "This is the house of God." Kofi's eyes scanned the room, and he saw the cross above the altar. "Where is my mother?" he asked, tears streaming down his face. "She's coming," the woman replied. When Akosua walked into the church, Kofi broke down completely. "I'm sorry, Ma. I've done terrible things, but I want to change. I don't want this life anymore. This church, this will be my home now." Akosua embraced him tightly. "God has given you another chance, Kofi. Use it well." From that moment, Kofi began a new life. He stayed in the church, learning about the Word of God and dedicating himself to prayer. Over time, he was baptized and became a devoted Christian. His transformation was so profound that the village couldn't believe it. The once feared robber was now preaching sermons of hope and redemption. Years later, Kofi was ordained as a pastor. He led the church with humility, though life was far from easy. Temptations lurked around every corner. One day, a wealthy businessman called him with an offer. "Kofi, I need your skills for a job. It's big, millions of cedis. Think of what you could do with that money." Kofi's heart raced, but he closed his eyes and prayed. "No amount of money is worth losing my soul," he replied firmly, hanging up the phone. Another time, a young woman attempted to seduce him after a late-night prayer meeting. She cornered him, her intentions clear. But Kofi resisted, fleeing the situation and later preaching about the importance of integrity. Though life was tough, Kofi found solace in his faith. During one of his sermons, he met a kind and God-fearing woman named Abina. She was drawn to his passion for the gospel, and Kofi admired her strength and kindness. Their bond grew, and they eventually married in the same church where his life had changed. Together, Kofi and Abina built a life of service, helping the poor and sharing their story of redemption. Kofi's journey from a notorious criminal to a devoted pastor became a legend in the village, inspiring many to believe in the power of second chances.